Hi, I'm Paul Arthur. This is Bridge City News. Here are some of the top stories we have lined up for you. It's voting day in Ottawa as MPs in the Commons decide whether to support the federal budget or vote it down. Plus, transgender advocates in Alberta prepare for a battle with the government over so-called gender-affirming care. And U.S. President Trump has a change of heart on the Epstein files, saying Republicans should vote to release them.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News.
Thanks for joining us. This is a big day for Mark Carney's minority Liberal government. It's budget vote day in Ottawa, and this is a confidence vote for the Liberals. Members of Parliament will decide whether to support the financial document, which proposes nearly $90 billion in new spending over 5 years. Here's what some MPs had to say on the way into the House.
I don't think the public wants it, but we'll see what happens.
Do you think we wind up with an election?
We'll see tonight.
Will your caucus vote against it? All of your MPs?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so no abstentions on the Conservative side?
I don't know. I know I'm voting against it. I only worry about Kevin.
You'll see soon.
Are we getting to an election?
I will not be supporting the budget. Why? I'm worried about future generations and all of the comments made by the parliamentary budget officer about how much money is being spent and where that money in fact is going.
Are you confident your whole caucus will vote against the budget?
Green Party leader Elizabeth May has said she will support the budget, meaning the Liberals will need just one more vote or abstentions from outside the party to get the budget passed. The Canadian Construction Association was making its voice heard today in Ottawa. Representatives made their annual visit to Parliament Hill to respond to the federal budget and lay out recommendations for the future. Association President Rodrigue Gilbert says you can't build things without people, and Ottawa must address the ongoing labor shortage.
Apprenticeship recruitment, skill training, and current immigration pathways are failing to meet the demand. We need to invest in promoting construction careers, fund apprenticeships, and training to expand the domestic workforce pipeline for both union and non-union workers. We need to streamline immigration pathways to align newcomers' skill sets and credentials with the sectorial needs. People power construction, and construction power Canada.
While generally supporting the budget and the government's ambition to strengthen domestic industry, Gilbert says procurement policies must not unintentionally restrict the construction supply chain. He says Canada's builders depend on a reliable flow of materials and components, and there needs to be an ongoing dialogue with the construction sector to ensure domestic sourcing policies strengthen rather than constrain Canada's ability to build. Statistics Canada has released their inflation report for October. With more on this is Michelle Zadikian from the Canadian Press.
Cheaper prices at the pump and grocery store helped bring down inflation in October. Statistics Canada says the annual inflation rate cooled to 2.2% in October, a tick higher than expectations, but down from 2.4% in September. Gas prices fell as fuel retailers switched to cheaper winter blends, and global crude prices dropped on concerns of oversupply. Meanwhile, grocery price inflation eased, driven by the food preparations category, mostly processed foods, and fresh vegetables, offset by higher chicken prices. Keeping the inflation rate sticky last month was a rare increase in cellular service costs, which StatCan says rose 7.7% in the segment's first price hike since April 2023. The October inflation report is the Bank of Canada's last look at price data before its final interest rate decision of the year on December 10th. The bank's benchmark rate stands at 2.25% following back-to-back cuts. Officials signaled last month they may be done with rate cuts in the near term unless economic data surprises them. CIBC Capital Markets says the inflation report was generally in line with expectations, and it continues to forecast rates will remain unchanged through to the end of next year, adding it would take a longer period of easing prices and deteriorating economic data to bring the Bank of Canada off the sidelines.
Canada's ophthalmologists are sounding an alarm about provincial changes to eye care. The Alberta College of Optometrists has asked the province to allow optometrists to expand their scope of practice. They want to be able to perform minor laser treatments, injections, and superficial skin surgical procedures such as the removal of skin tags, warts, and other surface lesions. Health Minister Adriana LaGrange has expressed support for the idea, but the Canadian Ophthalmological Society says the move is cause for concern.
To clarify the common confusion between optometry and ophthalmology, like ophthalmologists, optometrists use the title doctor. But optometrists are not medical doctors. They do not go to medical school, and their training is not equivalent. While optometrists provide valuable and essential primary eye care, they do not receive surgical training. This distinction matters. To support clarity, we recommend that provinces adopt a consistent requirement that anyone who is not a medical doctor but uses the title doctor also list their credentials and profession in all public and professional communications. This supports transparency, reduces confusion, and ensures that scope expansion proposals can be evaluated safely and accurately.
The Ophthalmological Society says performing even so-called minor procedures requires years of medical and surgical training and not just a change of scope of practice. It says access should never trump safety. The group Friends of Medicare, along with the Alberta Federation of Labour, are expressing concern over legislation on so-called gender-affirming care. A memo leaked this fall says the government plans to use the notwithstanding clause on a law that would ban doctors from providing gender-affirming care to youth under 16. Protesters were planning to gather at the legislature Monday, with rumors swirling that the legislation was on the way. The Alberta Federation of Labour says it's deeply alarmed by the move and calls it a direct attack on trans rights. Friends of Medicare Executive Director Chris Galloway says such use of the notwithstanding clause is completely unacceptable, and the government is only using it because it knows the legislation likely violates the constitutional rights of Albertans. Despite those concerns, a Leger poll from the spring of 2024 shows 67% of Albertans support banning transgender women from competing in female sports, while 44% believe gender surgeries for minors should also be prohibited. A report by an Israeli human rights group says at least 98 Palestinians have died in Israeli custody since the war in Gaza began 2 years ago. We get more from Sam Mednick with the Associated Press.
These findings are from Physicians for Human Rights Israel. It is new data, and they say that there has been a massive spike in the number of Palestinians who have died in Israeli military detention centers as well as civilian prisons. By comparison, in the 10 years prior before the war, less than 30 Palestinians died in Israeli custody, although far fewer people had been rounded up.
And one of our key findings that a lot of these people died directly from violence and beaten and tortured, or by medical neglect and denial of medical care.
Now, the AP has spoken to some people who have worked in these prisons, including a prison guard who said that he himself beat prisoners. The guard spoke to the AP on condition of anonymity for fear of reprisal. He said the prison that he worked at was dubbed graveyard. Guards were told to reduce the number of deaths. The prison service and Israel's army declined to comment on the number of people who have died in its custody. The army, however, said it is aware of cases of detainee deaths in its custody. It said any abuse of detainees is strictly prohibited, and complaints of inappropriate conduct as well as inadequate conditions are assessed.
Israel's prison service says it operates in accordance with the law. U.S. President Donald Trump is now saying House Republicans should vote to release the files in the Jeffrey Epstein case. It's a startling reversal after he previously fought the proposal, as a growing number of those in his own party supported it. Trump posted the change of heart on social media.
On social media, Trump wrote, quote, "We have nothing to hide." It's a rare example of Trump backtracking and follows a fierce internal fight within the GOP over the files, including a split with Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a longtime Trump supporter. The bill would require the Justice Department to release all files and communications related to Epstein, as well as information about the investigation into his death in federal prison. Information about Epstein's victims and any ongoing federal investigations would be allowed to be redacted. The president's shift is an implicit acknowledgement that there are enough votes in the House to release the files, though its future in the Senate remains unclear.
In that social media post, Trump also said he believed it was time to move on from what he calls a, quote, Democrat hoax. Closer to home, a 36-year-old Tabor man is facing charges in connection with a series of commercial break-ins and thefts throughout southern Alberta. Police determined the suspect was responsible for a total of 11 incidents between September 3rd and November 10th in Lethbridge, Coaldale, Picture Butte, Tabor, and Redcliffe. The alleged crimes included the theft of license plates, 2 flat-deck trailers, truck parts, a utility trailer, fuel tanks, and fuel. The stolen property is worth about $40,000. Tyler Kelly Blake is facing a long list of charges and is scheduled to appear in court in January. Lethbridge firefighters safely rescued 3 pets from a south side home after responding to a fire Saturday morning. The blaze broke out in a home in the 1200 block of 5th Avenue South at approximately 8 a.m. Crews from 3 stations responded and were able to contain the fire in the room where it originated. No one was home at the time of the fire. Damage is estimated at $200,000. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Christmas Hope, a collaboration between the City of Lethbridge and multiple charity and community organizations, has returned for its 19th straight season. The goal of the partnership is to provide vulnerable and financially insecure individuals and families with gifts and food. It's expected the program will serve over 9,000 residents, including 6,000 children. There will be opportunities for the public to provide donations or to volunteer with these agencies.
Our needs every year, year over year, are increasing. And it's just a reality of the world in which we live today with rising costs and inflation and all those kinds of things. But families are hurting and they need more and more help at Christmas time.
I have had a few actually reach out to me and thank me in regard. And I says, well, it's not myself, it's these incredible organizations that we're so honored to have within our community that work so hard, but had said, you know, I wouldn't have had a Christmas time. I wouldn't have had a Christmas gift for my son, my daughter. And so to be able to hear things like that, it's pretty heartwarming. And again, to be able to have so many incredible organizations working together, because it's usually you're working for your organization, but to have so many come together and know that, you know, let's be a team on this and let's just build this each and every year. And we've seen what it's done. So it's pretty special for sure.
The organizations taking part in this collaboration include the Lethbridge Food Bank and Interfaith Food Bank, the Salvation Army, My City Care Shop of Wonders, Volunteer Lethbridge, the Lethbridge Senior Citizens Organization Golden Giving Tree, and the Lethbridge Family Services Angel Tree. And as part of Christmas Hope, Lethbridge Family Services Angel Tree is marking 33 years of providing presents to children in need. During Friday's launch event, a major donation of over $40,000 was announced in support of the campaign from Avonlea Homes. Avonlea is celebrating 30 years of building homes and is sponsoring the initiative for the 3rd year. Lindsay Preet, Angel Tree Coordinator with Lethbridge Family Services, explains what this donation represents for the Angel Tree Christmas campaign.
Seeing that amount and knowing what it can do literally let me breathe a little bit, knowing that we can actually touch all the children that we want to, because turning them away is not an option for us. So we will make it happen regardless. We're probably going to be around that same range as last year. I would love to see it go down because then that means families are doing better. So 35 would be like amazing for us, 3,500. But with today's times, I can see it going back up again. Over 500 this year. I think we have registered so far about 400. So it's still open. So if anyone wants to go online, you can sign up for that.
What it means to us is it tells us that we have trades that are intertwined with our belief, and it's their belief too. And there are many trades, as I always reflect on that board, that have always come back and said, no, we're not done yet, we have more. And that is unimaginable. So we get to lead the journey of hope, but our trades are really the heavy lifters of the whole journey.
Preet says the Angel Tree is more than just a gift-giving campaign. It's a source of support for children of all ages. Meanwhile, more generous support is coming from Lethbridge Tim Hortons, which announced that the Interfaith Food Bank will be recipients of this year's Holiday Smile Cookie campaign. The Holiday Smile Cookie campaign began today and will run through November 23rd, with all proceeds going towards charities, community groups, and Tim Hortons Foundation camps. Last year, over $36,000 from the Lethbridge area went towards charitable causes.
Last year was we did a couple of years with the Boulay family, as you recall. So we're actually moving them over to the big campaign and giving someone else an opportunity. So it seemed to be fitting. Interfaith, Danielle, I mean, we've had a relationship with them and, several of the food banks and soup kitchen, et cetera. So it seemed to be fitting this time of year. Costs are going up, more demand on the food banks and services. So this would be a great opportunity to kind of take this program and elevate it and give back, right where it's needed in the cities.
Well, the more cookies that are purchased, the more proceeds that come directly to our organization and our ability to feed local families. We are seeing 1 in 4 Canadians right now are struggling with food insecurity, and locally here for Christmas alone, we're planning to do over 1,000 households out of Interfaith Food Bank, but between 2,500 and 3,000 individuals locally.
It's estimated that roughly 20,000 Holiday Smile cookies were purchased throughout Lethbridge last year. Nationwide, Tim Hortons raised over $10.7 million for charities across the country. Saskatchewan Rough Rider fans all over Canada are continuing to celebrate the team's 5th Grey Cup victory. The Riders beat Montreal 25-17 Sunday night at Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg. And as expected, fans of the green and white took to the streets to celebrate.
We needed this. Yeah.
It's been really nice this time.
It's been good. Winnipeg has put on good shows, good festivals, everything. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It was amazing. It was what I wanted. It was absolutely what I wanted. We've tried, but we finally made it.
It's great to bring it home.
It's the first time that I've been at the stadium here, and to bring it home was amazing.
I caught it from my house just in Cathedral, and I was one of the first people down here for the Green Mile celebration. It is unbelievable. The crowd's still just getting here, but the feeling of being here is absolutely unbelievable.
This is the best feeling ever. When you come back from a straight streak of losing games and watching them become first in the season, you bite your nails, especially because I thought about myself, this is 3rd time's the charm, 15 years in the making. It's surreal. I'm stunned.
A Grey Cup parade is set for Tuesday afternoon in Regina. The WHL has suspended the general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes following an investigation into a breach of the league's standards of conduct. Peter Anholt was temporarily relieved of his duties on Friday and will not be allowed to return until November the 26th. The organization has also been issued a $10,000 fine. The investigation found that Anholt broke conduct rules following a game against Edmonton after he used intimidating behavior and language during a post-game address to the players in the dressing room. Barclay Parnetta, the team's senior advisor, will handle Anholt's responsibilities in the interim. Anholt has apologized in a statement saying, "My behavior and language in addressing our team did not meet expectations," and that he will be committed to a higher standard moving forward. The league also suspended Swift Current Broncos head coach Dean De Silva for 5 games and dished out a $10,000 fine for separate on-ice incidents. Days later, the team announced the two have mutually parted ways. Assistant coach Regan Darby will serve as interim head coach for the Broncos. A zoo in New Jersey has decided to bring out into the open something that has traditionally been behind closed doors. Visitors now have the opportunity to see veterinarians working on their animal patients.
So today we're at the Turtleback Zoo and we're here at the veterinary hospital. It is brand new. It is officially titled the Animal Wellness Center, and we are in the treatment room, which is on display to our guests, and we're going to be doing our turkey vulture named Autumn. She's a rescued bird from the wild. She came in with some trauma. She can't fly. She's in like her middle years, so she was due for her wellness exam today. She'll get x-rays, we'll take blood. We do routine screening for certain infectious diseases. We're gonna microchip her. Should anybody ever have questions on who she belongs to, we know that she's ours. It's not very common to have a window into a treatment room. More zoos are starting to do it as hospitals are being redone because of the value of the education aspect and alerting people to exactly what happens at zoos and the kind of care we can provide. I would say that probably the people who stand and watch the longest are kids. There's a lot of little faces pressed to the glass. We have the ability to put it on monitors so that people can see it outside even if we're working on something small.
I'm gonna be a bone surgeon when I grow up, so I'm gonna watch what they're gonna do so I can learn what to do.
Actually, when they see me out in the park, I get a lot of like, oh, I want to be a zoo veterinarian, which is fun because prior to sort of having this window experience, people didn't even know that there was such a thing as a zoo vet, that it was even like a career pathway, and that we weren't just like dog and cat vets who like work sometimes at the zoo. So it's really fun to be able to like see the kids realize that it's something that exists and it's like a really awesome job.
The Canadian Real Estate Association says just over 42,000 home sales across the country last month represent a drop compared with a year ago. Prices have also fallen according to the latest data from October. The national average sale price of a home sold last month was just over $690,000, down 1.1% from a year ago. The association reported that new listings decreased by 1.4% month over month. Scammers using artificial intelligence-powered fake retail websites represent one of the new trends that are tricking consumers this holiday season. BMO's financial crimes head Larry Zelvin says retailers are making more money this time of year than any other, and fraudsters are all over it. AI is making it harder for financial institutions to detect fraud. Fraudsters have also been embedding malicious links in QR codes and are digitally pickpocketing shoppers using contactless payment devices to skim data from phones. There's certainly a lot of talk these days about how the future of robots and robotic technology will impact our lives. Well, after a robotics show in Russia, it would appear we have a ways to go. An anthropomorphic robot known as AI doll was introduced last week. You can see the robot is struggling, almost walking as if it were a little drunk. The robot eventually fell face first, breaking into a number of pieces. Staff rushed to shield it from journalists and guests with black curtains. Vladimir Vytukin, CEO of the Russian robotics firm Idol, attributed the fall to calibration issues, and the company maintains that the incident occurred during the robot's ongoing test phase. Vytukin says he hopes the mistake will be treated as a learning experience. Now, here's a look at today's markets.
The TSX was down 250 to 30,076. The Dow is down 557 to 46,590. The S&P 500 was down 61 to 6,672, and the Nasdaq was down 192 to 22,708. West Texas Intermediate Oil was down 38 cents to 59.70 US per barrel. Natural gas was down 22 cents to 4.34 US. Gold was down 37.84 to 40.4546 US an ounce, and silver was down 36 cents to 50.18 US an ounce. Feed wheat is at $7.46 per bushel, barley is at $5.77, canola is at $14.89, and corn is at $7.47 per bushel. Live cattle December contract was up $2.12 to $221.27. Feeder cattle were up $1.17 to $339.85. And lean hogs December contract was up 7 cents to 78.57. And the Canadian dollar was up slightly over the past 24 hours and currently sits at 71.20 US.
Recapping one of our top stories, it's Budget Vote Day in Ottawa. With a lot on the line for Mark Carney's minority Liberal government, this is a confidence vote. Members of Parliament will decide whether to support the financial document, which proposes nearly $90 billion in new spending over 5 years, or to vote against it, triggering a federal election. Green Party leader Elizabeth May has said she will support the budget, meaning the Liberals just need one more vote or an abstention to avoid an election. We had the opportunity to chat with Hollywood actress Jen Lilly today. She's a mother of 4, including 2 adopted children, and is passionate about providing foster care. Jen also shares some of her journey in living out her Christian faith in the entertainment industry. That interview is straight ahead. When you see news happening in your community, be sure to send us an email at info@bridgecitynews.ca. You can also visit our website or YouTube channel anytime to check out more of our stories and interviews.